We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity.
We know the air is unfit to breathe and our food is unfit to eat. As if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy.
Silence! The great and powerful Oz knows why you have come.
You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it! My life has value. You have meddled with the primal forces of nature.
Don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, or what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts.
With Jason Bermas.
And who loves you? And who do you love?
Good morning, and big shock of a day yesterday with the Tuckins being fired. Now, the thing about this whole Tuckins being fired is that it's being reported that they parted ways mutually. I'm not so sure about that. Doesn't seem to be that way in my opinion. Okay? It's also not being reported that way in many circles. Now, there are people on the left that are taking like a victory lap for this. I mean, I don't know what the victory lap is, but my take on it is this. We are in the post-truth world, and this firing, to me, puts me on notice, lets me think again that there could be a possible escalation in this war or having to do with something that would affect us all, like the nightmare we all just lived through. And that may be down the pipeline, even perhaps before this next big election, which it really seems like that's going to be the case. I mean, you really think about it, that was the big surprise. And the ramp up for that was about 11 months. Will they go by the same playbook? I don't know. It also, when I think about it, there's so many people that talk about Tucker being controlled opposition. And, when I put that article yesterday out everywhere, people are going, well, here's his interview with David Ray Griffin. And David Ray Griffin was in the 9/11 Truth Movement. He did absolutely phenomenal work. Recently did pass away from cancer. And as I stated before, David really took it on the chin. He was an academic. He was for global governance, by the way. He was also somebody who promoted climate change, which, that's a big criticism of RFK Jr. Hopefully he understands that the conditions of command and control they're trying to bring into place because of whether you believe it or not are not the solutions. However, when you look at both of them, it looks like they're doing the right thing. And now Tucker's been fired. And to me, that should show everybody a couple things, right? Other than the fact that this is clearly not about profit, right? If you can't make the number one news show in the United States profitable, what does that say? There are a multitude of things it says. It says that big companies don't want to invest in the truth. That's one. Because there is the stark possibility that they felt they could have made more money somewhere else because Big Pharma maybe didn't want to advertise there. But that also shows you the contempt for consumers that's out there. They don't even care what the consumer wants. Because, once again, you would think with all those eyeballs on there, there's got to be products that are there to be sold. Now, mainstream, I just want to show you what's going on in the mainstream. They're saying that they took issue with Carlson's derogatory remarks towards staff and bosses before shock departure. Anchor called them incompetent liberals and effers who were destroying their credibility. I don't think that's it either. If you look at, for instance, O'Reilly, when he was there, he got caught up in a full-on, blown-out sex scandal, a couple of them. Nothing. Paid the suits, kept them on, figured it out. So, as far as lower staff, again, he's pulling numbers. I don't believe that's it. I think this is narrative management. I think it actually may have something to do with the fact that these little documentaries are now going mainstream, right? Jay Dyer was in the Let Them Eat Bugs one, dressed up like Klaus Schwab, running around on people. It's funny. Reaching people. And I think that there was a whole bunch more documentaries. I'm not sure if they had even released yet. It may now. I'm sure that Fox at least has the Tucker Carlson originals, or have they pulled those? Have they come to an agreement there? Is that going to be part of the severance package? Well, the bottom line is wherever Tucker goes, he's going to be huge. But also, in my opinion, you have to understand that one of the reasons that you don't want this, okay, is that every time someone starts to do the right thing in media, in my opinion, they're forced to go solo, and then they're further marginalized by the great narrative, even if they have a huge audience or not. Joe Rogan would be a great example of that. YouTube. I mean, he was streaming his show live on YouTube, pulling crazy numbers. And then finally, Rogan, I think, wanted a little editorial control in case he stopped streaming, but he's still one of the biggest things on YouTube, never allowed to trend. Never allowed to trend. And then eventually they force him to Spotify, a smaller platform. Yes, he posts clips. Yes, a lot of people did move over for him, but they're able to kind of marginalize his cultural impact. Glenn Beck would be another great example of this. And look, I'm not a fan of... I take issue with all these guys on a lot of things. And Beck and Tucker in particular because of their attacks on 9/11 Truth. But as Beck got better and better, right? First of all, Fox saw that they could make money with Beck when he was at CNN. And they said, all right, we're going to bring Beck in. Then Beck starts becoming their biggest thing. And he has to leave and create The Blaze. Now, The Blaze has been awesome in a lot of respects. Like, look at Alex Stein. I think Alex is funny. Do I agree with everything he does? No. That's fine. He's a performer. He's kind of like an artist on top of everything. But he's also extremely articulate when he needs to be. And I think that, that's just one person. That's great. Glenn Beck isn't the mainstream juggernaut he once was. He has his audience. That's great. Awesome. There is no... I can't think of anybody else in the mainstream that went anywhere close to Tucker. So people are like, it's Tucker Unleashed now. I hope so. That's great. But is it going to have the same impact? I'm sorry. Like, Sean Hannity isn't doing it for me. Okay? Laura Ingraham having Karl Rove on all the time. Not doing it for me. Jesse Waters not doing it for me. I'd say if they're going to put somebody into that slot that I'd like to see, because they had Kilmeade on there last night. He trended just because he was there for the first thing. And he had to read that one-liner where he's like, as you probably have heard by now, Tucker Carlson and Fox News have mutually agreed to part ways. Tucker's a great friend of mine, and we wish him all the best. But now it's time for, and that's it. That's the whole shebango. Now, another reason to me that this doesn't seem like the profit motive, right? I get the advertiser's angle, but you would think like Coca-Cola or any type of food or beverage product, beer, soda, anything could make money advertising on the Tuckins. Already, $500 million has been taken off Fox News' valuation. That's big. That's pretty damn big. Yikes. I'm not saying that Fox News won't survive. They're a Leviathan. They certainly have a horde of fervent watchers and fans, especially when the rest of the mainstream media is just so over the top at this point. I mean, cartoon level over the top, for sure. Can't disagree with that one. Okay? So there's a little bit more than just the Tuckins. And I expect that the Tuckins is going to launch his own thing. How long it will take, I have no idea. Tuck, you looking for somebody? Look, I love the Red Voice Media. We'll continue to do it here. But, yeah, if you're really going to start a media organization, you're looking for hard-hitting truth seekers, you're going to put a budget behind it, maybe this is a win-win. Just like the Veritas thing, if you were paying attention, was really a win-win. Even though a lot of people don't want to retweet or share Veritas's work when they're doing some seminal stuff. And now O'Keefe is doing other stuff. Healthy competition, great thing. Yes, I'm all about cooperation and harmony, but taking competition out of the mix, which they've tried to do throughout the last couple of generations. Hey, man, here's your participation trophy. No. Competition breeds innovation, okay, and really accelerates the growth, in my opinion, of technologies that can empower people, empower humanity. But just like everything else, there's this duality where they can flip it around and also use it to hurt and harm and control humanity. All right, I have a bunch of news stories that I do want to go over before we get down and dirty and wild and we start playing some clips. I do have the Joe Biden, our children clip. Like, Joe Biden doesn't know what's going on. I also have another one where he's talking about everybody knows that climate change is fake. And at the same time, people think he's being sarcastic. I think he's just misreading. I don't think he knows where it is. I saw that clip we played again. How do you reach the top of success, sir? Top of success. I mean, zombified. So I want to hit these news stories. Think they're important just to show the reality we live in, and this is before we get into geopolitics. Although I got quite a few of those. We got Gates living it up, not giving a what, just talking about climate change as the agenda for everything. Always bringing in population control in there, and how dandy it is, and really emphasizing the health for peace, peace for health without saying it. The new Nazi-esque slogan. Yes, slogan. It's supposed to be slogan, by the way, folks. That's how good I'm doing today. I'm getting a little hot in my jacket. Heats up in here. 4 monitors, lights. Whoo. So it's Bernaysian, it's ridiculous, but it's again command control over everything. And your kids are a key part of that. There are kids. No. Parental rights. Yeah, that's another thing. I'm sitting there watching C-SPAN the other night because that's what I do. And I see this conversation with this like really soft, effeminate type dude talking about parenting, and he's advocating for 16 being the voting age, and all these weirdos that want to take the childhood from the child under the guise of their freedom and their rights. But really, it's not their freedom or their rights. It's the state's control over them. That's the reality. And by the way, I guess before we get to the horror stories I'm about to go over, the monsters among us, just to show you how wild and bad people actually can be in real time. Yesterday was a hell of a day for YouTube and I. So let's just start here. The 60 minutes thing I did with Ray Epps, I had to trim 33 minutes out of the video for that to stay up on YouTube. So I got, basically, CBS blocked it everywhere. They blocked the whole thing. So I had no choice. You can watch, obviously, the full unadulterated video on Rumble and Rockfin. Still not streaming on Twitter. Still no access to the media studio. Still don't have that blue check mark that I paid for a year. Hoping that changes. But then I wake up early in the morning and I see that they have taken down, and I thought maybe they were going to give me a strike and I wasn't going to be able to stream to YouTube today. They've taken down Alex Jones' 4th hour, The Club You Ain't In, meeting in the Grove again. This is last summer. It's been up almost a year. I appealed it, and within moments, I think before 6 a.m. today, they rejected that appeal. It's on my phone and everything. Nope, sorry. Can't talk about the Bohemian Grove. But really what they're saying now is that if they've deplatformed other creators, I wasn't posting content from creators that are restricted or have been terminated under our terms. So they're constantly updating it. And the video was one where I did have to rip it, and it does have the InfoWars logo on it and the band.video logo. That may be enough, because obviously Alex Jones isn't in it. It's really, it's just me reading directly from the long ago and the later on, playing parts of my documentary films, talking about The Good Shepherd and Skull and Bones. Oh, didn't want to do that. But really, I think a pretty good video, pretty important video. Gone. See ya later. Bye, YouTube. They love doing that. Can't get enough. Okay. So let's start here. Impossible to grasp. Polyamorous trio faces over 100 years in prison for extreme child abuse, sexual abuse, threats, and torture involving BB guns, whips, and paddles. Take a good look. Take a good look right there. Okay? And look, they look cracked out. They look terrible. That's a view of some monsters. We're going to see the other side of that spectrum shortly. But I think I need to emphasize, people don't understand what vicious predators are actually capable of. Okay? They don't get it. Thruple. Robert Chavez on the left, Kelsey Cabrera center, and Amanda Johnson on the right, pleaded out on a myriad of child abuse charges in Butte County, California on April 19th, 2023. They face over 100 years in prison collectively for multiple counts of child sexual abuse and torture. No plea deals. Sorry. Jail forever. No plea deals. Jail forever. Robert Chavez, 41, pleaded no contest earlier this week to numerous charges of physical abuse, sexual abuse, and torture that came after over a year's worth of violence inside his residence in the small town of Magalia, according to Butte County District Attorney's Office. All right? I don't want to read too much of it because it's grotesque and unreal. Prosecutors say Chavez's reign of household terror impacted 5 minor children between the ages of 4 and 16 years old. Specifically, his plea was in relation to multiple counts of rape and molestation of 4 female children and 1 count of torture of a young boy. It's hard. And this, if I wanted to do these stories every single day, I could do them every single day. And that to me is why certain Twitter accounts, the Dalton Report's one of them. I do respect an open secret. I know that's a volatile subject, but they put out only real stuff. Okay, only real stuff. Take a good look. So BB guns, torture, sex abuse. Chavez faces 80 years to life in a state prison. The female defendants face up to 10 years and 8 months each in prison. It's a travesty. All of them, jail forever. Jail forever. So you take a look at a picture like that. You're like, okay, scum of the earth, total trash. You're not surprised. How about this one? Socialite mom, 45, is arrested in CP sting at Virginia hotel where she allegedly planned to sexually abuse an 8-year-old girl. Now federal judge ex-husband launches court battle to win full custody of their daughters aged 10 and 12. So this is the other tier of society. Okay? You understand? Federal judge in Virginia is fighting for full custody of his 2 young daughters after the high society ex-wife was arrested at a hotel where she allegedly planned to sexually assault an 8-year-old girl, DailyMail.com can exclusively reveal. Eleanor Hunton Hope, 45, a member of one of Virginia's most prominent families, was snared in an FBI sting last month after messaging an undercover agent explicit and sickening details about what she wanted to do to the child, according to the court filings. The mother of 2, who has been charged with CP and child sex abuse offenses, is also accused of sending the agent a 30-second video and 3 stills of a young minor being horrifically abused by men. So again, that's a monster right there. Take a good look. She allegedly used the screen name Tito Torre and started an email chat with another user who was an undercover FBI task force officer based in the D.C. field office and operating out of a satellite location. Oh, man. Taboo parenting. The undercover officer responded he was the father of a young girl, at which point Hope directed the agent to a social media app that encrypts messages. So, I mean, again, you think that you're having some encryption talk too. It's just it's crazy. Crazy. She repeatedly said she wanted to help the father introduce the 8-year-old to sexual activity, and around March 12th, it was agreed she would travel from her home, it is alleged. Not done. Not done. Drag mom, who mentored 11-year-old child drag queen at Satan-themed Oregon pub, is sentenced to less than 1 year in prison for 11 felony child sex crimes. But yeah, no, it's totally fine for this stuff. We're the bigots. We're the bigots. A drag mom and former elementary school teacher has been sentenced to less than a year in prison after being convicted of felony child abuse crimes. Kelsey Metabaran, 31, pled guilty to 11 counts of encouraging child sexual abuse in the first degree last month. Sentenced to 330 days in jail. That's it. Just 30 days for each charge. I mean, this person is a child abuser. Belongs nowhere near any children. Ever. One count of using a child in a display of sexually explicit content was dismissed by the court. Oh, is that lovely? Court documents reveal they found evidence she had been uploading and exchanging CP on the internet on multiple occasions. The child performer, whose stage name is Vanellope McPherson DuPont, did not take the stage at their drag. I mean, that's child abuse. God, that makes me angry. And I waited a few days to do these stories because they're just so grotesque and over the top. So grotesque and over the top. And again, we could do that stuff all day, every day on this show. All day, every day. You just talk about that. Not healthy, in my opinion. People certainly need to know about it so we can bring these people to justice. It's not something to take lightly. I can also promise you that. All right. I want to move on to quite a few other news stories, by the way. This one in particular. Elon Musk's SpaceX Starship rocket blows up minutes after launch. No kidding. We're going to the moon and we're going to Mars. No, we're not. Thumbs up, subscribe, and share, everybody. We're going to the moon. We're going to Mars. And I post this stuff. And, they're trying to have rockets that can land. And, boy, people love to troll me when I say that. Because I say things like, yeah, rockets aren't taking us to the moon. And Santa Claus isn't real either. And, boy, that hurts people's feelings. They want to go back to that Apollo program. I'd say I'm more familiar with Apollo and Gemini than most. I think that rockets are dandy and that there is actually a real secret space program and separate propulsion systems that do run parallel to what's openly out there, but at a much more compartmentalized scale than people imagine. And there's the possibility that we may actually have gone far beyond the moon, in my opinion. But rockets ain't doing it. They highly volatile. You know how hard it is to get into Earth orbit? Just to get into Earth orbit? Sending things to space, however you want to define that, because now they're saying that they found atmosphere up to 400,000 miles away. And they tell us the moon is about 250,000 miles away. And they also tell us that since the Apollo missions, no astronauts have gone more than 400 miles away. Big jump from 400 to 250,000 and back. And back. With stuff that explodes all the time. All the time. Okay? I point that out. Boy, people get mad. Gee, I mean, they start talking about Bigfoot. They get so mad. Because, we focus on Bigfoot a lot here. And the Loch Ness Monster. And Elvis. And all sorts of alien stuff here. Oh, wait, we don't? No? We're not the History Channel late at night? Or during the day? Or on weekends and marathons? We're not them? No, we're not. No, we're not. And that's why I think that this is also absurd. China vows to build a space station on the moon by 2030, up to 4 years before NASA. So we're not just going to the moon and going to Mars. We're building space stations on the moon. China is, anyway. All right, is anybody buying this at this point? I'm sorry. I get it. We've been groomed through Hollyweird and sci-fi and all these things to believe this jackassery. But that's it. It's nothing more than total and complete jackassery. And I got to get Rob Ager on. I got to get Rob Ager on to deconstruct 2001, A Space Odyssey, and the idea I mean, I love Rob Ager, man. Rob Ager tears apart transhumanism and the merging with machines and the singularity folks. And he believes that really the true meaning of 2001, A Space Odyssey, is that, you know, all this whole idea that we're going to travel the stars and, you know, space travel is going to happen like that is total and complete bullshit. And I don't necessarily disagree. No, I do not. Let's jump to some Biden stories, and then we'll hit some clips of Joey B, a.k.a. Zombie J, a.k.a. I have no idea. So Biden has finally confirmed he's in the mix. Here it is. Let's do it. He's back.
Freedom. Personal freedom is fundamental to who we are as Americans.
There's nothing more important, nothing more sacred.
That's been the work of my...
He can't barely walk or speak. And look at this slick edit job already.
...first term, to fight for our democracy.
This shouldn't be a red revolution.
To protect our rights, to make sure that everyone in this country is treated equally and that everyone is given a fair shot at making it. But you know, around the country, MAGA extremists are lining up to take on those bedrock freedoms. Cutting Social Security that you paid for your entire life while cutting taxes for the very wealthy. Dictating what health care decisions women can make. Banning books and telling people who they can love. All while making it more difficult for you to be able to vote.
We got the slow-mo Kamala embarrass fake talking to Joe shot. Thank goodness we have that shot.
When I ran for president 4 years ago, I said we're in a battle for the soul of America, and we still are. The question we're facing is whether in the years ahead we have more freedom or less freedom, more rights or fewer. I know what I want the answer to be, and I think you do too.
I mean, I know what the people that control you want, and it's certainly less freedom under the guise of more freedom and democracy. Again, not even the mainstream media and those on the left want Joe Biden to run. And here's the announcement. We're doing it. I mean, can you imagine they impose another 4 years of this? He can't speak. He can't talk. And the person under him clearly doesn't run anything either. It's a parody of that damn parody show Veep on HBO when it comes to embarrass.
This is not a time to be complacent. That's why I'm running for re-election. Because I know America. I know we're good and decent people. I know we're still a country that believes in honesty and respect and treating each other with dignity. That we're a nation where we give hate no safe harbor. We believe that everyone is equal, that everyone should be given a fair shot to succeed in this country.
Thank you for choosing us.
Oh yeah, there he is. We did it. We broke the ceiling with a judge that can't define what a woman is. That doesn't know. Ketanji Jackson Brown. That she's got 3 names. You better believe it. 3 names. It's big.
Every generation of Americans has faced a moment when they have to defend democracy. Stand up for our personal freedom. Stand up for the right to vote and our civil rights. And this is our moment.
I like pit bulls. They got me. That's a good-looking dog right there. I better vote Joe Biden. I mean, this is out of control.
So if you're with me, go to joebiden.com and sign up. Let's finish this job. I know we can. Because this is the United States of America. There's nothing, simply nothing we cannot do if we do it together.
Now, how many takes do you think that it took, even though they edited that? What do you think, about 3 hours? 3 hours? Let's finish the job. Okay. In fact, does that mean, I've read somewhere, Democrats won't hold primary debates. Let's see what we got here. Yep. Democrats say they will not hold debates. Oh, wait, no, that's on Fox News. But here's one chick there. Oh, he said chick. He's a misogynist. Marianne Williamson knocks DNC over lack of debates as Biden campaign launch nears. DNC plans no primary debates. None. He's the guy. It's Joe Biden or nothing. You better believe it. Let's see. Joe Biden polling with Democrats. Let's type that in. Joe Biden polling with Democrats. Let's see. 70% of Americans don't think Joe Biden should run in 2024. I mean, it's so obvious. The guy can't speak, can't do anything, but he's their guy because he'll say anything and he'll do anything that they ask. Here he is talking about how the children are our children. It's everybody's children.
Rebecca put a teacher's creed into words when she said, there's no such thing as someone else's child. No such thing as someone else's child. Our nation's children are all our children.
Nope. But again, he doesn't really know where he is most of the time. And the agenda is to what? Eliminate parental oversight over your kids, give the state more control over your children, destroy any type of notion of the nuclear family where the daddy and the mommy procreate and that they have any kind of rights. This is it. It's the takeover. They've said they wanted your kids before. Now they're coming to take them. That'll take it to do. All right. I got some more clips here. And we got this Gates clip to break down. And really, this is the linchpin of just about everything. I've also got this ban fossil fuels by another one of these esteemed people with a foreign accent speaking in English saying we must stop investment in the fossil fuels. They're looking to cut off the power. And they're looking to do so under the guise of climate change and really do everything under the guise of climate change. Climate change. Did I mention the climate change? So before we do that, because I've got an RFK Jr. clip that it's juicy. It's big time. It's got to go in the second hour. Can't play it here on YouTube. In 22 minutes, we haven't plugged once. I will be going to redvoicemedia.com/Jason, redvoicemedia.com/uncensored. Try it out for $1 for 1 week. If you don't like it, cancel it. But please don't cancel it. $10 a month, $100 for the year. Lock it in. Tell them Jason Bermas sent you. I know a lot of people are going to have to save those streaming dollars for whatever the Tuckins does. But until we get there, consider Red Voice Media. Plenty of us. So this is somebody that they don't want to have a place on a stage in an actual debate and show that there would be Democrats behind him because they want to paint him as a evil conspiracy theorist and far right, even though he's been a lifelong Democrat. And that's Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who's also running for president. Now, let's see in stark contrast Joe Biden and his America and that propaganda and what we're going to see with RFK Jr.
What we need in the United States is not division. What we need in the United States is not hatred. What we need in the United States is not violence and lawlessness. but is love and wisdom and compassion toward one another.
Every nation has a darker side, and the easiest thing for a politician to do is to appeal to our hatred and our anger and our bigotry and greed and xenophobia and all the alchemies of demagoguery. My father and my uncle had a vision for America, a vision of racial harmony, of prosperity for all Americans, of peace in the world, and of honest government. Their lives were tragically cut short, and America took a different path. Yet the possibility they foresaw is still alive, the America that almost was and yet may be. I've been fighting corporate corruption my entire life, but I understand that today the problem is much larger than a few crooked individuals. The problem is a system that no longer serves the people, and a people who are so divided and so fearful that they are easily ruled. It's time to unlearn the reflexes of fear and blame and find ways to unify ourselves and turn our country around. I won't pretend to you that it will be easy, but I know what it will take. My father said it: love, wisdom, and compassion toward one another, and that's where we need to start. We will scale down the war machine and bring our resources home. We will rebuild our water systems, repair our roads, modernize our railroads, and clean up our environment. We will also clean up government and earn back the people's trust. We will end the secrecy, the censorship, and the surveillance. We will again be a fearless land of liberty.
The cost of freedom is always high, but Americans have always paid it.
We will face honestly the darker parts of our history, the genocide, the racism, not to shame or blame or punish, but to repair as best we can in a spirit of compassion and kindness toward all. I'm inviting all of you to join me to create an America that we can believe in and be proud of again. I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and I'm running for President of the United States.
So I think that's a stark contrast to what we saw with, literally Biden's commercial starts off with the fear-mongering technique of the evil January 6thers. The evil January 6ers. Not here. And look, I don't disagree with any of that. I'd love to get rid of real pollution. I hope that doesn't involve some kind of CO2 regulation that plays into the globalist hands. But I'm behind this guy, guys. I'm behind him. You know what? Let's take questions and comments for about 8 minutes, and then we're gonna go to the Gates clip. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what the chat's chatting about. Let's see if there's trolls a trolling. Let's see. Why does he mean by telling them who to love? What is he talking about? And that's in the Joe Biden. Yes, we're telling people who to love. You do as an adult. You want to love another adult? Great. I'm all about the love. But then again, I'm not an extreme MAGA Republican. And I'm so sick of hearing about the other side. Shut the tuck up. One would have to understand what love is in the first place, and 80% of folks have no idea what it really is. I think there are a lot of detached folks out there, JC. Did they make this video on an iPhone? They tried to make it that way. Yes, they certainly can marry snowflakes. Snowflakes nightmare. The big boy signs are to vote for Trump in 2024. Goodbye, woke Fox. Fox, I think, is going to be out of control. I don't think Fox was that great in the first place. Tucker was that shining star because he did tell a lot more truth than anybody else in the mainstream. And a lot of it was just common sense and in your face. And if you watched the premium broadcast yesterday, where we did the watch along with his video talking about, he called it out for what it is: just plain evil. Let me say it again. Just plain evil. Let's see. I am getting secondhand embarrassment from this video. Bet you are. Put the putts in the millstone column with his son. Go compare your personal freedoms with the freedoms of the Federal Reserve, Pentagon contractors, and big tech. Hooah! I agree. Let's see. The music felt like the final countdown. Yikes. I don't know about that. Let's hope we don't get a copyright strike for playing the presidential ad. My goodness. Selling the soul of America, I will not consent. But it's about dignity. That's what it is. It's about equity. We have never been less free and had fewer rights. Correct. And Biden and the trumpet both work for them. Well, again, not a big fan of a lot of the Trump either. The election will be real, but it will take place on the moon. Remember when Biden promised not to run again? Then the handlers realized how easy it is to get their way with a demented old man. Although that GoFundMe Bermas Brigade thing should be down. Is that in my links? I don't know if it is. I don't think that. I'm gonna click on it really quick. If it is, I haven't. Yeah, 8 months ago was the last time. I think I can't believe I haven't locked myself out of that thing. The Bermas Brigade Media. Let's see. Oh, my ad blocker just jumped right in there, huh? They didn't like that. No, they did not. Let's keep going down. Let's see. Some are more equal than others. Little animal farm quote right there. Just vote at your local moon. I am more concerned about the illegal aliens that may end up in my backyard after May 11th. I don't know where your backyard is. No, it's not a concern for this guy. And the party lies and lies and lies, like AOC's lies about Tucker. I'm from the left, but I'm one of the sane leftists who look at facts. Thank you, Friendly Brilliant. Appreciate those facts. Let's see. Van 100, the artwork is so gray. He lives in Delaware. That should say it all. 3,000 takes for that one. Could be. Could be. I have trouble watching Joe. He's disgusting. In 1974, I bought a 4-year-old used car with money I earned baling hay. Now my grandson is looking at 10-year-old cars that cost more than my first house. That is correct. Isn't that wild? Like back in the Disney 80s, you can still get a decent house for under $30,000 in a lot of places. In a lot of places. Sometimes a pretty good one for like 20. Not anymore. No. This is so laughable. You guys know that's an AI speech program talking in the commercial. Anything's possible. Meanwhile, gas, food, and everything else is too expensive, so go shoot some hoops. LOL. I do have a great video of a woman attacking a medical robot in what appears to be China. And that's the resistance. Stop the robots. Let's see. What a liar. I hear you, Friendly Brilliant. Oh, go watch Doc Rich. He explains the difference between democracy and a republic. Brought to you by the iPhone 14. Lowest of the low, Joe CCP Ho. LOL. Let's see. Brought to you by holograms. Where is America with Biden? Nowhere great. Anthony Russo interview says democracy is code for NWO 15 years ago. Banana Republic actually more fair. No debates, no pressers, perfectly democratic. Yes, no debates. No press conferences. Let's see. We're going to get rid of this troll, huh? Let's just get rid of that person. Where's that? I'll do that. Let's see. Hide user on this channel. Sorry, buddy. We're not doing the whole let Ghislaine Maxwell Doe with that moniker. He could die of old age any day. Let's see. Debates don't matter anyway. It's just a platform where they all die their asses off and never do, or lie their asses off and never do anything. Cats and dogs living together, men having babies, women knocking them up. RFK is going to endorse Biden just like Bernie did. Yikes. I don't know about all that. I hope not. All right. Let's play this Gates clip. And we'll jump in from time to time. But here's Billy Gates explaining how climate is really the underlying agenda for everything.
Even as I'm doing all this climate thing, that's going to remain by far the primary source of my philanthropic dollars. are what's going through the foundation.
Well, I wondered about that a little bit, because in the book, when you talk about your pathway to getting to these climate issues is coming through your understanding of what needs to happen in low-income countries and their need to electrify, and kind of merging that with your recognition that if climate change isn't slowed down and addressed, that the good work that you're doing in global health is really undone by that.
See, health for peace and peace for health. And let's wrap it in a climate change basket.
So how do you, in your mind, how do you rationalize spending more of your resources and energy in global health when everything is kind of, the underlining of everything is really climate change?
Well, the year 2000 saw over 10 million children die below the age of 5. And today, with the great work that we've done with our partners, including creating things like Global Fund and Gavi.
So Gavi and the Global Fund are saving lives, even though climate change is at the underlying cause of everything. It's the underlying everything.
That's under 5 million a year. And, we have a path to get it down from that 5 million to 2.5 million. So we're driving for health justice, where a child nowhere in the world has, a 5% chance of dying before they see their 5th birthday. And we still have places, even without war, that it's 15 to 20%. That's where we're expert. Our malaria team, our vaccine factory team, and that's where we're going to stay committed.
He loves talking about his V factories, doesn't he? Look at that big smile. Big old smiley Billy.
And the returns on that, the impact of that is phenomenal. It also happens that as kids grow up more healthily, their parents choose to have less kids. And so between improving health and getting voluntary family planning tools out there, there is a connection with climate.
Yeah, see, the connection with climate is less kids. Oh, they have less kids, less humans, better for the climate. You're the carbon they want to reduce.
Also, our foundation, because of our agriculture work, is the biggest funder of climate adaptation. And that involves, in many cases, giving better seeds to these subsistence farmers so they can deal with the kind of drought and floods and higher temperature.
And you're going to hear some wild things. Wild things. Don't worry. We're GMO creating the seeds that everybody needs, because now droughts and extreme weather events, not 1 in every 2 years for crop failure. It's 1 in every 4, maybe even 3. And it's all from climate change. All from the boogeyman. The boogeyman did it. The boogeyman.
The climate makes a lot of crops way less productive and increases the number of years you have a crop failure from about 1 in 10 right now to 1 in 4, even 1 in 3. So that, that adaptation work, where I chaired the commission with a number of people and really tried to bring more attention to adaptation, because we're not going to get away with 0 degrees increase. And
I'm not even sure what that means. We're not going to get away with 0 degrees increase. Huh? So, I mean, the way I would interpret that is, even if you did everything these people said and they got down to that 0 degrees, it's still not enough. Just like when the Club of Rome has their wonder computer machine that predicted what? Oh, doom and gloom, and we need to reduce the population. There was no scenario where everything went good, no matter what they did. None.
These equatorial subsistence farmers are suffering the most, and that's most of the poor people in the world. So, the foundation, through its health and reproductive health and agriculture work, it's helping with climate, but that's not the primary lens that foundation money is spent on. It's spent on saving lives, which, is still, I think, a super, super important thing. the foundation actually can fund the creation of a new vaccine. We're the biggest funders in all the diseases we work on except HIV, which is the one where the U.S. government spends more than we do, and then it's a gigantic drop to number 3. In the case of climate change, even the money that I have, if it was all applied in this direction, I put in $2 billion so far, I'll put in another $2 billion over the next 5 years. That's not enough to solve it.
It's just, we got to have trillions. We need a Marshall Plan. Remember that? That's Prince Charles. That's the UN. That's Davos. Climate lockdowns. All that sorts of good stuff.
Role of high-risk investing and philanthropy in creating programs like Fellows and Ventures and Catalyst. The role of philanthropy is to start things out, but it's really government policy has to carry this one. The energy market is a $5 trillion a year market. For example,
and I think that's important. $5 trillion a year. The energy market. So I was watching Club Random, which is the Bill Maher podcast, and he had Fred Durst of Limp Bizkit on. And yes, guilty pleasure. I like the Limp Bizkit. Went and saw him live last year. Great time, fun time. Loved it. Had a good time. Now, Durst starts bringing up 0-point energy and UAPs in the same sentence with Maher. And Maher strikes him down pretty hard. Okay, and I'm not sitting here telling you I believe in 0-point energy from them taking energy from the vacuum of space, as Fred was trying to describe, etc. I have no idea. But to think that certain types of energy have not been suppressed because they are too efficient and would give cheap or nearly free energy to the vast majority of the populace would be ignorant, because controlling the energy of a population, all right, ensures there will be a hierarchy, and then you can socially engineer how far you would like that population to what? Economically develop. Militarily develop. Period. How much energy you have is in direct correlation to that. What your energy infrastructure is. When you don't have power, people freeze. When you don't have power, okay, people can't cook as well. They can't travel. Just basic facts. So it's not in their interest to develop that sort of thing.
Nuclear fission, the U.S. government gave TerraPower an award, where I agreed to fund half of the demo plant with private sector money, and the government's funding the other half. That will be an amazing tool if that all goes well and we can get the public acceptance. That will give you the reliability of power sources even when the weather is shutting down the intermittent sources of solar and wind.
And the thing is, look, he even admits right here that nuclear is the better, more stable option when they can't get solar or wind power. But you don't ever, again, that's the whispered part of it. The big part is that you have to do your part to reduce your carbon. And you better just roll your sleeve up anytime you're asked and get ready for a carbon credit system of command and control, also based in your social credit score. And stop believing those pesky conspiracy theorists. So on the flip side of the break, which is about to come up for the free portion of the broadcast, go to redvoicemedia.com/Jason, redvoicemedia.com/uncensored. $10 a month, just 10 beans, or 100 for the year. Lock it in. Tell them Jason Bermas sent you. Send people over to the free portion of the broadcast, and remember, all of it's free in audio format right now over at the Podbean. So you can listen in, you can go over there, you're enjoying it, I enjoy it. I want to get this information out. This fossil fuel clip that's coming up is big time. I also have what we may end up doing a watch along, at least some of, depends, I've got some other clips on the second half of this piece from 1982 with Mike Wallace talking about the CIA and Nazi connection via Operation Paperclip. So with that being said, I'm going to shoot it to my producer and tell him let's go over to the other side. And I'm going to say goodbye to each of the platforms over there. Rumble, I'm glad you're here. Again, we pay to stream on Rumble, so thank you. If you're not subscribed on Rumble, go subscribe on Rumble. Thumbs up, share, everything like that. Thank you, Rumble. YouTube, you know the drill. I love you, but I can't stand the fact that I'm constantly censored. I can't make money, that you're part of the narrative control system, and that you're really a Trojan horse civilian system.